Hello, stamping friends. Brenda Hillard here. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am located in north central Minnesota. Welcome. If this is your first time joining me at Create with Brenda, I am happy that you're here. I hope you subscribe. You'll get notifications of my regular video posts or demonstration posts. And be sure to like and comment and share because that's how I grow my subscribers. So thank you in advance. If you've joined me before and you're tuning in, welcome back. I'm just as happy to have you here. And you guys, it's an exciting time at Stampin' Up! Right now. We have a new catalog starting on May 3rd. I cannot wait. But in the meantime, we have 17 sleeps before we get to actually order from the new catalog. So I know all of us have designer series paper. I know all of us have product that we probably haven't used from the last catalog. So it's time to break that out and dash for the finish line before it's retired for good. So today I have kind of a fun fold here. It's called a Dutch door. And I used the beautiful, it's called Simply Elegant designer series paper. Love this paper. Just haven't used it enough. So I thought, what the heck? Let's break it out and get some stuff going here, right? All right. So is what I chose to use was this beautiful metallic floral paper. You can see all the shiny. And the Dutch door opens like this. So I thought, well, I don't have very many anniversary cards, so let's give that a try. So here's what I have. I'm using the stamp set called Love and Happiness. This is really a cool bundle in that it has the hybrid embossing folder that fits the dies. I'm not going to be using that piece today, but I wanted to use the sentiments. So this is what I have for paper sizes. I have a piece of basic gray cardstock. This measures 4¼ by 11. I have, and I didn't talk about scoring. You can score it at 5½, but I'm going to score it and then cut it. I have a piece of basic black that measures 4 by 5¼ I have, oh shoot, I dropped it. I have a piece of the designer series paper that measures 2½ by 6, and that's going to be for the flap of our envelope. And then I have 3 pieces of designer series paper that I have cut, and these measure 1¾ by 1 5/8. Okay. I have a scrap strip, and this strip is a 1/2 inch wide of smoky slate. And then I have a piece of basic white that measures 5 inches long by 1½ inches wide. And then, of course, just a medium-sized envelope. So let me show you what I've got going on here. Let's first of all get our card base ready. Okay, I'm going to bring in my trimmer. I think I have to shut this light off because I'm getting a really bad reflection on my recording. There we go. 5½. I'm lining that up right here. Top edge goes right up on my trimmer. 5½. I'm going to put my cutting blade up at the top, and I'm going to score it at 5½. Now I'm going to leave this right here, and I have to bring in just a little scrap of white, and I'm putting that under here so that I can see the markings on my ruler. Okay, so is what I'm going to do is I'm now going to take my cutting blade and I'm going to cut down to the 2 1/8 mark right here, so that the slot or the little groove on my cutting blade matches up with 2 1/8. All right. And I'm going to lift up and I'm going to turn my piece. And now I'm going to put this edge at 2 1/8. And then I'm going to cut. I have to put my little strip back in here so I can see my 5 1/2. So I'm going to match my groove up to the 5 1/2. And when you pull it down, if you pull it down slowly and put some pressure, you can feel it pop when you hit that cut mark here. Okay. So now is what we've done is we've made our card base and it looks like that. Do not throw this strip away because right now is what we're going to do is move our card base off to the side. And we're going to trim this down just a little bit because we're going to use this piece. So I want to take just 1/4 of an inch off one side there. And then I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off from this edge. Okay. All right. So there's the piece we need for that. And that's all the cutting we have to do right now with the trimmer. So now is what I want to do is bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And I've got my platform 1. And I'm going to do an embossing or a cutting plate number 3. I'm going to be using the Pretty Petals embossing folder. This is not a 3D embossing folder, so that is why I've got this set up with platform 1, cutting plate 3. I've got my embossing folder, my piece of paper, and remember, you never want your paper to go all the way up to the hinge on your embossing plate. You keep it down from there. And then I'm going to do my other cutting plate number 3, and I'm going to roll it through my machine. And this Pretty Flowers embossing folder did carry over. I'm pretty excited about that. Let's move this out of the way and we'll look and see what we've got. Look how pretty that embossing folder is. I just love it. That's the Pretty Flowers. And like I said, it did carry over, which is exciting. All right. So let's take our piece of basic black and we've got our three little squares here. I'm going to take my liquid glue. We're going to add liquid glue. And I just want to place these so that this border, I say this all the time, but it's how you set it up, so that this border and this border are about the same, or as close as you can. Then we'll add glue to this one. And I like to do my 2 outside pieces and then center my, rather than going across and then it's like, oh shoot, they're too close. Now is what I have is I can now center this one equally between these two. There. Isn't that paper gorgeous? I just love it. Okay, so now is what we're going to do is I'm going to add adhesive to the back of this. And I'm going to just center that right inside my card. And then on my embossed piece, I want the flowers to be raised up. So, and you'll see what I mean if you have this embossing folder. One side is like debossed and the other is embossed. I forgot to score my fold line, or I scored it. I just didn't use my bone folder to crease it. All right, so I'm going to take my embossed piece and I'm now going to center that so that we've got the basic gray on basic gray. And it doesn't seem like you'd be able to see it very well, but I think you can. Yeah, it's showing up on the camera. This is really, really pretty. And for whatever reason, I kind of have a little edge here and I don't like it one little bit. So I'm just going to use my snips and the edge of the card as my guide to clean that up a little bit. I didn't cut it exactly right. So pretty, right? Now I'm going to take some of this silver cord and this carried over to, I'm going to tie, I wrapped it around twice, and then I'm going to tie a bow. And I say, if you're not into tying bows, you can always tie a knot. And I am the bow girl. I love bows. I'm going to trim these a little bit. There we go. This cording is really fun because it really goes a long way when it comes to making cards. Plus, with the silver up here, it just makes this silver pop, doesn't it? All right, so now we are going to do a little bit of stamping. So the sentiments I chose, I wanted to use the celebrating your anniversary. So I'm going to open up my memento. I have some new black ink pads on order. I re-ink, but it always feels like I'm short of black stamp pads when I do my little classes or get-togethers or whatever. So I have some new ones coming. I'm pretty excited about that. So there's our little sentiment, the celebrating your anniversary. Zoom in here a bit. And then this next one that I'm going to use says, here's to another year of love, laughter, and happily ever after. So I want to ink that up really well. And then we'll put that right in the middle. Isn't that pretty? All right. So our next step on our card is going to be, I want to just cut our sentiment strip at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to add some dimensionals, and I want the full size dimensionals. So take your pick tool, add those. All right, backings are off, and I'm just going to slide this under. There we go. Just like that. And then we'll take our adhesive. Whoa, got a little crazy with that. All right. And then I'm just going to add this, and this will be good because you can see how wide it is, so you can center. You just want to make sure, and I'll show you in a second once I have this placed. You just want to make sure that you are below your Dutch door, okay? Because you don't want this sticking up above. So there's that. And then the other retiring product I have to use on this are the metallic pearls. And I'm really kind of sad that these are going away because I love these pearls. There was gold and silver in the pack. I'm just going to add one outside of our little sentiment banner. Oops, that one was on my finger. I didn't mean for that to go there. Ooh, I got them all over. Okay, so There's our card. How easy is that, right? And I love that there really is no waste, because when you cut this part away, you can just cut it down and add it onto the door. All right, and so for the last part here, remember our little motto here at Create with Brenda. We have no naked envelopes. So what I'm going to do is just take my liquid adhesive again. I don't need to be this close, obviously. I'm going to add some liquid glue. And then I'll take another sheet of that really pretty paper and just put it right down on the fold line. And then you've seen me do this before if you've tuned in, but I just use the edge of the envelope flap as my cutting guide. And there we have it. So we have our pretty envelope with that gorgeous paper. I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm just going to rub over this, and what that does is it just helps move my liquid glue out to the edge so that I get a nice edge on my flap. And then our card. Yay! Anniversary cards. I love being able to celebrate people's anniversaries, and I think this is really festive. I love the fold, the Dutch door. I hope you'll give it a try. Until next time, bye-bye.